Finally, President returned back home to his people after so many protests. He has landed safely in Abuja. But that's none of our concern today on the program. Today, we will be talking about tax. Is it tax accounting? How does it affect us as individuals and as businesses, especially in the ethnic minority communities? Welcome to the Nigerian Pride, and I am your anchor, Lion Olushokunbi. We will go straight into the interview today, and I want you all to pull a cushion, sit down, and relax and learn as I call on our guest today. Hello, guest. How are you?
Hello everyone. I'm fine, thank you.
Good, thank you, and welcome to the Nigerian Pride. Coming to everybody from the stables of Diaspora Radio International. So, can you tell us about yourself? Can you give us an introduction? Who are you?
Okay, my name is Folake Mosuro. I'm the founder and CEO of Task Consultancy. I reside here in Glasgow. I'm a mom and a wife. I started my career way back, which I can't remember specifically, but I started my accounting career when I worked with HMRC a few years ago. I worked in the Self-Assessment and Corporation Tax Department of HMRC and the large business. And then I moved on to work in Lloyds Bank, and currently I'm still in the banking sector. And I took the bold step to start my accounting firm last year, actually. And this is just because I am very passionate about accounting, especially the tax aspect of accounting. It's something I enjoy doing. It's something I used to do for family and friends. And I eventually thought, oh, this is something you can actually make into a business. And then I formed my company, went through the usual process to gain my authorization from HMRC, and here I am today as the CEO of Tax Consultancy.
CEO Tax Consultancy. You're welcome. Very, very much welcome. Right. So one thing I'm proud of is the fact that, yes, we have women who are actually starting something, and that's a good thing. So what does tax accounting do in a business?
Okay, first of all, we would look at taxation generally. What is taxation? Taxation is an aspect of an accounting, and it involves the preparation and filing of tax returns. The aim is to ensure that everyone that has a taxable income are paying the right amount of tax to the government. Moving on, most people would normally pay their tax through their PAYE income, but as a business, you are liable to pay your own tax from your profit that you've made from your business. And this is compulsory to you, whether you make a profit or not. It is important for you to declare any taxable income. And your income could be from, not just from business, it could be income from profit, from property, income from investments, income from inheritance, income from trust. They are all liable to tax, and and they need to be declared.
Okay. So what you're telling me there is that, let's say you, in your will, you give me a mansion now, I have to declare that.
Inheritance income is, as with every aspect of taxation, is very vast and wide. What it is you don't, in inheritance income, you don't necessarily have to pay tax on some certain aspects of it. But then when those submission would need to be reviewed by the particular department of the Inland Revenue, and they would work out what you need to pay tax on, and it is all dependent on other incomes that you have as well. So you could have income from trust and settlements as well, and you could have income from properties, as well as any other taxable income. Basically, foreign income as well is included in the tax that you need to declare to HMRC. Yes.
Foreign income. Did I hear you say foreign income?
So if you have a foreign income, you're bringing into the country and you're using in the country, maybe as an investment or as use it to start a business, yes, or you maybe it could be income from dividend from a foreign country. As long as you're bringing it back into the UK, you need to declare that income because it is a taxable income.
Okay, now I understand your point there. So let's focus on the community. On Nigerian Pride, we always try to focus on our ethnic minority community. Now we've had stories of different people who have businesses, and over the past 12 months that we've had this COVID-19, even though the government has brought out different, schemes to help people, many of the ethnic minority businesses were not able to benefit from this. So my question is, what are the tax related challenges here facing ethnic minority businesses, and how can we avoid these challenges? And if you want me to break it up, okay, don't worry, go on. I was going to break it down more. That if we take, for example, the taxi drivers.
I understand exactly what you're driving at. I totally understand. Yes, and I know that quite a lot of businesses actually could not benefit from this bounce back loan, the lockdown benefits here and there, the grants from the government, and they follow as well.
What's wrong with the sound there? I can't hear my guest.
Right.
Okay, I can hear you now. Go on, please.
That's fine. Yeah, technology. And yes, like I was saying, yes, many businesses did not benefit from all these benefits that the government actually provided during the lockdown to support businesses. And that is because of the fact that those businesses were not registered. And this is something that is paramount amongst the ethnic minority. Yeah, we have a lot of people that have their businesses self-employed, Uber drivers, Amazon drivers, flexi workers, whatever your side hustle is, yes, a lot of people are not declaring that, which we can all see the disadvantage of doing that during this lockdown. The challenges that I would say is probably lack of information. Most people wouldn't, when you start your business, just your business, but you probably did not sought advice from maybe an accountant or even consult the HMRC, even possible to see how you go about registering your business to be in the book, and also maybe lack of documentation is one other thing. Even those that have the business, they wouldn't document their income, their expenses, and as such, at the end of the day, they wouldn't even bother submitting a tax return. And if you're not filing a self-assessment tax return, how are you going to pay your tax? How are you going to pay your national insurance? How are you going to pay a pension? Because those are all other benefits and all other aspects that is tied into tax that makes it even more beneficial to you in the long run than you avoiding to pay it. So yeah, I would say maybe lack of information, lack of advice, people just wanting to go about the shortcut, just believe that, yeah, I don't have to pay this tax to HMRC, but in the long run, it is tax evasion, and this is something that is actually illegal.
Yeah,
basically.
well, tax evasion, I frown as tax evaders, seriously. But one thing I want to go to before we move ahead, I know you've touched on it a bit. Now, how can members of the ethnic minority communities, especially our community in Scotland here, start and sustain a business, a successful business, with the tax part in mind? I know you've mentioned some of it, like, getting information, but okay, I want to start a business. Let's say, for example, I want to start this Amazon delivery business. Come to you. How would you advise me?
Okay. My advice to you is, first of all, if you're starting whatever business, apart from the fact that you're doing it for income, I believe some people these days, we see a lot of self-employed women doing something they are very passionate about because they love doing it. And at the same time, they are making money from it. It could be a side business, or it could be something you solely would be your main source of income. But yes, it is still important that you declare that. So if you're starting a business, you need to get that registered. You need to decide on, am I doing this business as a self-employed, or am I registering it as a limited company? So if you're registering it as a self-employed, maybe based on the fact that you don't want to do too much paperwork, or you do not understand how limited company work, or you feel that your kind of business do not require you to actually go into limited company, then yeah, you could register yourself as self-employed. And what it is when a new client comes to me that they're just starting a business, the first thing we need to get you registered with HMRC. I will fill the appropriate form, send it to HMRC. I'm ensuring that the business is registered, as well as you're registering for Class 2 national insurance. I'm stressing Class 2 national insurance because this is something that a whole lot of self-employed people are not contributing into. And it is a vital aspect of our future, basically, because as we probably know, national insurance is you contributing into your old age. And you can be anywhere in the world benefiting from that pension when you retire. You don't have to retire here in the UK. But as long as you paid into that contribution, you eventually benefit from it. So I always advise my new client that when I'm registering you for self-employment, we need to include you paying Class 2 national insurance. Yeah, fine. HMRC is not saying that you have to earn profit. We all know businesses is ups and there is down. There may be years that you would earn profit. There will be years that you would not. You don't necessarily have to earn profit. If you do not, you can file your tax return as whatever income I gain from these businesses, I've used it to offset expenses, and as such, there is no profit. That's fine. Nobody is holding you for that, as long as you have a proper documentation to show those expenses that you've actually incurred, and they have to be solely business expenses. But for the Class 2 national insurance, even if you've not made enough profits for you to pay the Class 2 national insurance, you can pay voluntary Class 2 national insurance as well. And a lot of people would willingly pay that amount because it's very little amount you're paying. For the whole year is about £153 thereabouts. And that is you contributing your national insurance for that whole tax year. So I advise people to, yes, definitely register your business, let it be documented. Apart from the fact that the national insurance aspect of it, you're going to have other benefits that comes with it. When you need to apply for maternity allowance for women, they will look at your national insurance contribution. When you need to apply for other benefits here and there, they will look at those national insurance contribution that you contributed. And then that is where you can derive other benefits for you doing that simple thing that you should have done. So yeah, I would definitely advise my clients, register. We are not saying you have to make a profit. No. But register yourself as a self-employed or as a limited company.
Okay. So first step to a successful business is get the business registered, and then let's then move on with other things. Now, this one is not something I should have asked, but it just came to my mind. What sort of bank account will you ask them to open for their business? Because I know there are different business account packages now we have from all these banks. So do you think there's a particular one, or is it just whatever business account you open for the business?
Your business account can be any business account. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be anything big. It depends on what return you're expecting from the business. If you go to your bank, and then any bank would open a business account for you, as long as you're genuine at what you're declaring to them. And the bank as well, they are not expecting that all the time you actually make profits in that bank account. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be any business account should be fine. So, but if your business turned out maybe to grow very much and you then want to change your bank, that is totally up to you. But you starting your business, yeah, you can open any business account, do your feasibility study, and business does not grow in 1 year. And most African, I would say, ethnic minority, some people who start a business within a year, and the business shuts down the year after because like, I'm not making enough profit, or this is not working for me. But business does not grow in 1 year. Most big organizations that we see out there, they grow over years. So if you do not make profits in your first year, yeah, things could change. You could look into what else you can add to the business. You could look into what other aspects, what other things that can actually improve the business. And maybe subsequently you would gain profit. But yeah, I think lack of perseverance as well is one other thing that we, ethnic minority, we lack when it comes to us sustaining our businesses after we establish it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Very, very straight answers there. Now, I am someone working for a company at the moment. Okay. And then I want to start my own business. How does owning my own business affect my taxes?
Okay. So your business, it depends on the business. Okay, let's just say you are registered yourself as a sole trader, right? Your PAYE income, wherever job you're doing, is fine, no problem, as long as there is no conflict of interest in the job you're doing with, for example, if as I have my own accounting firm now, I cannot be working for another accounting firm, like maybe KPMG, those big accounting firm as an accountant, because that is a conflict of interest. And part of the reason why I left HMRC was because I wanted to have my own establishment. So I had to leave that organization, and you have to leave that field because you cannot do that. So as long as there is no conflict of interest between that company you are establishing for yourself and your main organization that you're working as an employee, then you're free to have as many business as you want. You can, and with the tax aspect, obviously the tax you pay as an employee would be dealt with by that company. It will come out of your payroll. Normally, your payslip also sorted for you. But for the self-employed part of it, yes, it still boils down to you registering that. So what it is at the end of the tax year, so if you have your PAYE income as well as your income from your self-employment, so at the end of the tax year, we are declaring all income onto our self-assessment tax return. So it could not, maybe it could be you have property incomes as well. We are declaring all taxable income into our self-assessment tax return. And what it is whatever tax that you've already paid through your PAYE, that would be deducted from the total income. And then you just receive a bill for what is left to be paid from the profits you from the business.
Okay. So does it then mean that the PAYE is then considered side by side with the profit I'm making from my self-employed business then?
Not really side by side. The thing is, at the end of the year, at the end of the day, they are still income that you've earned.
Okay.
Still have to be declared. We already know that yes, you've paid tax through your POI, it's fine. But when you are filing your tax return, you need to include, okay, I've earned 20,000 in my so company that I work for, and then with my wherever company I have or my business, I've earned 2,000 from there. Then I'm combining everything into my self-assessment tax return. My total income for that year is actually £22,000 and not 20,000. And then I would deduct whatever tax that I've already paid from my PAYE and whatever is left to be paid, then I will pay that.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Now, that brings us to that part of self-assessment, because a lot of people these days, they will receive a letter from HMRC asking them to go and complete a self-assessment, even those who own businesses and even those who do not own businesses. What is self-assessment? How do we look at this? Because I know I've heard many people talking about it, that, oh, why am I receiving self-assessment? I work for this company, they deduct all the things there. Why has HMRC sent me this? Why are they sending me this? So what is self-assessment? Why do we receive it as individuals or even as businesses?
All right. And as individuals, as yes, you could be liable to file a self-assessment tax return for different reasons. Yes, you could receive that letter from HMRC to say, oh, we want you to file a self. Sometimes it could just be yourself that made the mistake and just went ahead and register yourself on the Gov website and just whatever you've done and just automatically registered yourself. I've seen a lot of people do that, but then it's just you turning around and then going back to it. This is my mistake, and then you close the account. But yes, you could be, HMRC could ask you to file a self-assessment tax return as well based on your PAYE income. Because what it is there's different income rates, as we know. When you have an income of £50,000 or more, and you are receiving a child tax credit, child benefit actually, you need to complete a self-assessment tax return. And that is because those child benefit that you are receiving, part of it you're not meant to receive for the full year. That is a complicated aspect that and I don't really want to go into. But yes, it could be because of that income, because you are earning more than £50,000 in a year and you are receiving child benefit. You need to file a self-assessment tax return. When you have income of more than 100,000, right, on your PAYE from the employer you work for, your salary for the year is £100,000. Yes, you still need to file a self-assessment tax return. When you've claimed expenses of more than 2,500, this is job-related expenses, maybe through the employer you're working from. You claimed expenses, maybe tools, all sorts of different expenses from the employer. It can be mileage expenses through the employer, yes, and it's more than £2,500 expenses that you're claiming, then you need to file a self-assessment tax return as well. So those are like reasons why HMRC, you could just receive a letter out of the blue from HMRC asking you to file a self-assessment tax return as an individual. And if you're a company or a sole trader, obviously, definitely you need to file one as well. And yeah, filing your self-assessment tax return, doing that, you can make a claim. You use that to claim any benefit, any expenses that is relating to your business that you've deducted from your profits. You need to declare all that in your tax return. And at the end of the day, you find out that you might find out that you're even not paying up to what you think you would be paying. So self-assessment tax return is like declaring my income, basically. You're declaring income for that year, and that is what HMRC would review and tell you how much tax you need to pay.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, I'm just going to add this straight question. How much does a small business make without paying taxes?
Without paying tax. The thing is, we have what we call personal allowance.
Okay.
So you can't really, as long as I would say, okay, everyone, you're entitled to £2,500 personal allowance. It was last year, £2,500. It's been changed this year, tax year, which started on the 6th of April this year. So £2,570. So, but now we are still referring to last year, which is 2020-21 tax year. Yeah. So last year, if your total income from self-employment is less than £2,500, you wouldn't need to pay tax as long as you do not have any other income, right? Because the allowance, it can be used up in your job as an employee, or it can be used as, in your self-employment job. Whatever it is, yeah, we are all entitled to that personal allowance. So I would say yes, for you not to pay tax, basically, yeah, if you earn 2,500 for all of that tax year, you wouldn't be liable to pay any tax. And if you earn more than that, then the 12,500 will be deducted from assuming your total profit after your expenses as a sole trader. If you have your okay, let me just try and simplify it to make it more sensible. For the whole of that year, your business income is £20,000, right? Mm-hmm. And you have the expenses that you've incurred for the whole of that year relating to the business, and the total of that is maybe £5,000. So when we're filing the tax return, we are putting the 20,000 income profit, and then we are deducting the expenses from it. So it means you're due to pay the income you're due to pay tax on is 15,000. But then we would now deduct the £12,500, which is your personal allowance. So the only amount you would now need to pay tax on is the 2,500. So you wouldn't need to pay tax on all the 20,000. Yeah, it would only be on 2,500 at whatever rate you're paying, depending on where you are in the UK.
I think that's the way you explained it. There sounds good to many businesses. I would think anybody thinking about starting a business, that okay, so even if I make that 20,000, by the time we make all the submissions minus the personal allowance and everything, it will just come down to whatever that profit is at the end of the day is what I'll be paying the tax on. Good. Now let's get more personal. And you've said it earlier that it was your passion that got you into tax, but how can one start a career as a tax advisor?
I'm trying to think. First of all, you need to love doing it. You need to love doing the paperwork. You need to love doing the calculations and all the maths and all those figures that comes with it. But yeah, basically, I would say if you're a graduate, I did not graduate as in accounting. Actually, My BSc, I graduated. I have my BSc in business management. Actually, they're still the same field, sort of. I did a bit of accounting when I was this, and then my master's as well is in business management. But yeah, I would say first of all, yeah, you need to have a degree. You need to have the vital part, which is the experience. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today if I had not gained that experience from HMRC or all other companies I've worked with that is tax related. You need to actually have that experience. So if you're thinking of starting your own business, I would say yes, apart from you having your degree, work with an organization. It could be any accounting firm. There are loads and loads of accounting firm out there that you could work as a junior accountant or whatever position it is and gain that experience, because taxation is a very vast aspect of accounting. Yeah, you need to have that experience to be able to know what you're doing. If not, you will you probably not lack in it. And also, yeah, you can take a professional qualification as well. There are loads of accounting professional qualifications as well. I'm a member of AAT, which is the accounting technician. And yes, you can take ACCA, CIMA. There are loads and loads of them as well out there that you can do as well, just to support your knowledge in that aspect of accounting. You can do ATT as well, which is basically for the tax aspect of it. Yeah, so I would say that experience and then gaining that knowledge is very, very important. And you need to actually like what you are doing as well.
Good. Now, you've given us a good answer, which I love. But one thing I always like to do with my guests when they're on the show is that I also want to focus on the generation coming after. Our youth. We have a lot of our youth today in the ethnic minority, in fact, in the African community at the moment, who are in high school, almost getting out of high school to go into college, to go into colleges and universities. Now, how will you, if we bring you out as a career advisor, how will you advise them, especially to see the importance, just to see the importance of this field, your profession, and the opportunity it offers?
Generally, I would say focus, know what you're doing. They could be in any field. Yeah, I know our young generation, as long as you are hardworking, you need to actually know what you're doing. You need to have a plan. You need to know what you want to establish, what you want to gain for yourself, or where you want to be. And you need to work towards achieving that goals that you set for yourself. Have the right education, right? I wouldn't want to say we have. I know we are African. We like education generally, and we pursue our children as well to be well educated. So yes, as long as you have the right education, there are loads and loads of this coming generation. There are some opportunities that I believe that is out there for them that we did not even get that opportunity, and that is because they grew up here. As young as 18, you could get into a graduate program, you could get into an internship program, you could work for an organization as just to gain experience. And some people don't even have to be a graduate for them to be in a high position in an organization. So there are loads and loads of ways that the government tries to like empower them, and also like currently now the government is trying to encourage companies to employ young teenagers from the age of 18 to 25-year-old. And what it is they are trying to get, just all we want you to do is employ them, we will pay the salary. So the government is going to pay them, but we just want you to give them that empowerment. We want you to employ them into your business, give them that experience. Because especially in this time of COVID, and a lot of people have lost their jobs. So the government is using that to create jobs for the teenagers, for the youngsters out there. And these are opportunities that probably some of us they didn't get. And some people will even have that opportunity and would not even tap into it, but they are there. And organizations are embracing that scheme now. because they are not paying for it. All they are doing is we are employing you, we are giving you that experience, and you don't have to be stuck with that company after you work with them. You can take that experience and use it somewhere else. So that is developing yourself. So there are loads and loads of opportunity out there that will say tap into, ask for advice. I'm not a career advisor, but I'm sure there are loads and loads of career advisors that will be able to give them more advice on how to go about establishing themselves and doing good for themselves in future.
Good. Thank you. Even though you're not a career advisor, you just gave us a good career advice there. Now, let's get into what you do as the CEO of MM Accounting, MM Tax Consultancy. So, I am here now to you, and my question, I'm a client now, and my question is, what does your tax preparation process look like?
My tax preparation will depend on what your business is like as well. Because so if it's just a small sole trader that we've gone through, I've onboarded you as my client. We've made sure you've done the necessary registration with HMRC. At the end of the year, you've submitted your receipts, your bank statements, and everything relating to the business to me, because I need to review that. So, and for me to file your tax return after you submitted those expenses, because if you're claiming expenses, your accountant needs to see any receipt that you've incurred for that. So I've reviewed that. My aim is to make sure I file your tax return on time. And my aim is to make sure that you are always compliant with the HMRC and to make sure that there is no delay. And if you are a limited company as well, we ensure that you are filing your corporation tax account on time as well. You're doing the necessary things that you need to do for the company's house as well as HMRC. So it depends on the kind of business that will determine the process that we would go through. But yeah, as an accountant, I will definitely be reviewing your bank statement, your business accounts, your receipts and expenses. If you want us to do the bookkeeping aspect for you, we would be doing that as well. And another thing that I'm having discussion with my clients about as well is them contributing into a pension as well. This is something I will briefly touch on because it is something as well that I noticed that a lot of minorities are not doing. Contributing into, especially if you're if you're working as an employee, you probably be contributing, because this is not compulsory. Every employer must deduct pension from their employees' pay. Or as a sole trader, most people don't, but it is something that needs to be done. Paying into your pension as well, like I said earlier, is for your own future. It can be as little as whatever amount you want to be contributing monthly into that pension pot. But it is a discussion that I'm having with my clients when I review their accounts. I'm like, oh, yeah, you should. Why is there no pension? I would advise you start paying into a personal pension contribution. There are lots and lots of pension companies out there that you can actually, and this it can be as little as wherever it is that you wouldn't even notice that you're paying into. But at the same time, you're building your own future as well.
Okay, good. Now, and then you've answered some of the questions I was going to ask, but I still have one there that I can ask you. Is that, so I'm still your client, remember? So what information will you need from me to file my taxes?
What information? Yes.
So let's say I'm a cab driver. I'm a cab driver, and I'm your client. What information will you need from me to file taxes?
Okay. Like I said, first of all, I would assume that you've been keeping record. Record can be basic income and expenditure. It doesn't have to be fancy bookkeeping. Is you, wherever you're receiving every day from your business that comes in, that today total money that comes in or that made today is £500.
Let me just cut in there. Let's make it easier for you. I've not been keeping any records. All I know is that I take a passenger, they've paid me, it's gone into the account. I just pay for whatever I want to pay for, maybe my insurance, the car insurance, whatever I need. I've paid it there. So I'm just doing everything on the business account. I'm not keeping like any separate income and expenditure account.
That's fine. That's no problem at all. We still understand that some people don't, so we can't force you for that. But yeah, if you do not have any bookkeeping, any records whatsoever, do you have a bank statement?
Yes, I
Do
do.
you have, right? Yeah. So with that, we can extract from the bank statement what your business income was in that tax year, 2000 and assuming we're working on 2020, 2021, we can extract the income. Did you incur any expenses during that year as well? We can work that out. Obviously, you would know what expenses you've incurred, like repairing of your cars and that you're using for the Uber business, wherever expenses, more MOT, anything expenses that relates to that business, you know what you pay. Then we work out those expenses, and then we can extract your income from the business account, and then we can use those information to prepare your tax return. So yeah, I understand that some business might not have been keeping those records. We are advising that if you've not, try and be doing it. But at the same time, doesn't mean that we cannot file or register you. If you've not previously registered, we can get you registered and we can file for those previous years as well, just based on whatever information that you have. And as well, I'll need to add, HMRC always advise that you need to keep your record for at least 5 years because they can review it at any time.
Okay. Wonderful. That's a great one. Thank you for doing that. And, listeners out there, we are still on the Nigerian Pride. Today we're talking about tax, and we have with us Folake Mosuro, who is the MD CEO of Tax Consultancy. She's been sharing her experience with us, giving us different information we really need as maybe individuals and also business owners. So we've been discussing with her so far for the past 40 minutes or thereabout now. And I'm sure she's just, and like she said in her introduction, if you're not here, she's a mother as well. And if you don't know, she's a practicing Muslim, I believe. And the month we are in, the month of Ramadan. I would have loved to keep her more for another 15 minutes, but we'll allow her to go help family as well. But before she goes, she will surely still answer some questions for us.
That's fine, no problem.
So, as a businessman, I've told you earlier, I'm a taxi driver and things like that. Yeah. Can I be making charitable contributions from my business? Is that allowed? And if it's allowed, how does that affect my tax situation for the business?
That's fine. Yeah, you can pay into charity from your business. And when we are filing your tax return, those are part of the expenses that you wouldn't need to pay tax on. So yeah, you can pay into charity basically, and you wouldn't need to pay tax on that amount that you've contributed to charity as well for that year. So as well as it's still classified as your expenses, even though it's charity. Even like I said earlier, pensions contributions as well. You wouldn't need to pay tax on them as well. So those are part of the deductions that will come out of your profits that you wouldn't need to pay tax on. So there are lots of other deductions that will come out of your profit that you wouldn't need to pay tax, that are still deemed and classified as your expenses relating to the business.
Okay. So I am giving a gift to my children from my business. Does that affect my tax or not?
If you've given a gift, they wouldn't need to pay tax on it, right? Because you've given that income as a gift to them, so they wouldn't need to pay tax on it. For yourself, yes, it's still part of expenses, but it is all, it depends on a whole lot of factors that relates to it. But yes, you can give gifts to anyone and you wouldn't have to pay tax on them.
Okay. So there you have it, people, listeners out there. I really wish we could keep her more and longer. But sorry?
As well, like souvenirs, Christmas parties, they are all expenses that you can deduct from your business as well. So if you print out of souvenirs, advertising, all that you've done for your business, you wouldn't need to pay their expenses. If you have a Christmas party for your clients, although there's more to it, maybe for your clients as well, they are still business expenses that you wouldn't need to pay tax on. But yeah, if anyone is looking for more advice on their on how to go about this, just give us a call. And no matter the size of your business, I enjoy working with sole traders to businessmen out there. No matter what you do, even if you're confused, you don't know where to start from, just give me a call. I will point you in the right direction.
Good. Thank you so much for that. So for viewers and listeners listening at home, this is Folake Mosuro, the MD, CEO, and founder of Tax Consultancy. Whether you need any help, whatever help you need, one thing I know that is mentioned on our company thing is making your tax affair easy. Is that it? Did I get it right?
Yeah, making your tax easier. It's just taking that.
Easier. Okay, easier. Okay. So if you want to contact her, you can actually contact her via 07930 586 153. That's 07930 586 153. And that's what we do on the Nigerian Pride. We promote our own people, we promote our people doing good things for the people. So if you have any questions at all concerning your taxes or anything, you're setting up a business of your own, no matter how little, even if it is your own personal individual tax, you can call on her and you can, I'm sure she'll be there for you. On that note, I would like to say a big thank you to you for giving us your time and energy, for coming to share what we will have paid money to get from you with all of us here. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope the family won't be too angry that you've taken some time off. And I hope we'll be able to have you again in future if we call on you.
And it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me as well, and the family understands.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. So, viewers at home, there you have it today. We've talked about tax, and that's what we've talked about today. And I hope you've been able to learn a lot. And you also got that number I read out to you about how to contact her. Next week, we're going back political. 2 weeks ago, we had Councillor Graham Campbell of the SNP, who we know as the first Afro-Caribbean councillor in Glasgow City Council. Next week, we are going to have the first Black man to be a councillor, first ever Black man to be a councillor in the city of Glasgow. Councillor Ibinu Adebayo will be our guest next week. He is of the Scottish Conservative, and at the moment, he is the councillor representing the Victoria Park ward, which is Ward 12 in Glasgow. And I know he's also is standing at the moment for, I think it's Annisland, Glasgow constituency in this election. So he'll be here next week. So why don't you keep a date with us and let us have the second series of Africans in Scottish politics. That's what we're doing next week. And don't forget, the big one is coming on the 29th of April. Yes, the BAME Scottish Parliamentary election debate. We've confirmed the 5 major parties will be part of it: the SNP, Scottish Liberal Democrat, the Scottish Conservative, the Scottish Greens, and the Scottish Labour. The 5 parties will be here for the debate on the 29th. So get your questions ready, get prepared. They are ready. Already some of you should have started seeing the publicity out there. From tomorrow, we will release each candidate that will be representing each of the parties at the debate. On that note, as we go forward into the weekend, particularly this Saturday, we will be paying our last respect to Prince Philip. Please keep to the guidance. Don't forget this virus is very, very much around us. Let us keep safe and let's remain one. I am your host, Olu Shokunbi. See you next week. Bye for now.